Sir, I've started the recording, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'll be displaying the PDF of this particular chapter. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good evening. So, welcome to this particular session. That is the Hitahiteeyam of Sushruta Sutrasthana. So, this particular chapter, Hitahiteeyam, it is mainly based on the Hita and Ahita. That means which is good and which is bad. That means which food stuff or the ahara and what sort of activities, that is vihara, are good for an individual, and at the same time the same ahara and the vihara, they are not advisable or they are ahita to the individual. So the whole chapter deals with this particular aspect. So he begins with the explanation like yad vayoh patyam tat pittasya apatyam iti anena hetuna na kinchit dravyam ekantena hitam ahitam va asti iti kechid acharya bruvate. That means he begins with the opinion of some other scholars that there is no ekanta hita and no ekanta ahita. That means which is totally contraindicated and which is totally indicated. There is no such dravya or ahara, and at the same time no such vihara which is totally discarded or totally or completely accepted. That means in different circumstances or in terms or in relation with the patients, in different patients, some foodstuffs or certain activities, they become hita, and certain foodstuffs and certain activities, they become ahita. Some are good and some are bad. So acharyas say that there is no dravya which should be considered as ekanta hita or ekanta hita. They give an example here saying that some dravyas or some activities, they are good for vata dosha, and at the same time they may become bad or they are not good for the pitta dosha. For example, vata dosha is having the ruksha guna, it is having the lagu guna, it is having the chala guna. So if we use the dravyas in vataja conditions wherein the ruksha, lagu, etc. are increased, so we have to give some dravyas which are having the opposite qualities like snigdha or ushna, because vata is shita. But this shita and snigdha, they are not good for pitta dosha. So they can aggravate the pitta dosha. That means these are good for vata, but they are not good for pitta. Similarly, some dravyas may be good for pitta, but they are not good for the kapha. Similarly, those drugs which are good for kapha may not be good for vata. So that depends. So that is why acharyas say that we do not get any dravya which should be considered as ekanta hita and ekanta ahita. So in different conditions or in different circumstances, the same dravya can be good and that can be even bad also in different circumstances. So we cannot label a particular dravya as it is always good. Similarly, we cannot label any dravya which should be considered as always bad. As per the condition or need of the physician, they can be used in the disease. So as we go on, we get some of the examples here. So that is why in the commentary, Dallana says, ekantena means satatyena. That means continuous usage of the dravyas. Even that is also not good. Up to certain extent or certain level, those dravyas may be good. But after crossing that particular limit, that can be ati yoga, and that is definitely not good. So किंचिद अपि द्रव्य हितं नास्ति पित्तस्य अपत्यात् तथैव तथा एकांतेन अहितम अपि नास्ति वायोः पत्यत्वात्. So some dravyas which are good for the pitta are not good for vata and vice versa. So that is why he says tattu na samyak in the mula shloka iha kalu yasmat dravyani swabhavatah sanyogatascha ekanta ahitani hita ahitani cha bhavanti. So some dravyas swabhavatah ekanta hita and swabhavatah ekanta ahita, and some are swabhavatah hita and ahita. Similarly, some dravyas they are sanyogatah hita, sanyogatah ahita, and sanyogatah hita and ahita. So he gives example here. That means Acharya Sushruta contradicts the statement of the scholars who have told that there is no ekanta ahita, ekanta hita. He gives some examples stating that it is not right. So some dravyas they are ahita and some dravyas are always hita. For example, yata vannehe ushnatvam, that is the ushna guna of the vanni, agni. So that is always not good. So that ushna quality or the ushna guna of the agni is it's a natural property. It is swabhavata. You cannot change. You cannot get the agni with the shita guna. It is always ushna, and that is not good for the individual. Similarly, apam dravatvam. You cannot change the dravatva guna of the jala mahabhuta or the jala dravyas, because that is its innate property or the natural property. You don't get the jala without drava guna. So this ekanta hita and ekanta ahita are told in relation with the swastha. This is what Sushruta opines. So sanyogata means what? Whenever 2 or 3 or more dravyas are combined together, eka, dvi, tri adi dravyena samhati bhava, mixing together dravyas more than one. If you are combining 2 dravyas or 3 dravyas and making a combination, so that is sanyogataha. And here further he says swabhavataha sanyogataha. Cha means sanyogeshu api swabhavo api hetutvena samucciyate tata desha kala matra samskarascha swabhava anusambaddaha samucciyante. So we should also consider other factors like desha, kala, matra, samskara, etc. That means in some deshas some dravyas are hita. For example, in Jangala desha, use of snigdha dravyas in the ahara, they are hita. There we cannot use the ruksha aharas, because already due to the effect of the desha, the rukshata will be more in the people living in that particular area in Jangala desha. And if we use ruksha gunayukta ahara in the diet, then they are definitely going to have rukshata more in the body, leading to vataja rogas. Similarly, in anupadesha, snigdha guna is more, kledata is more, snigdata is more. So if we use more of the sneha dravyas in the diet, then that is not good. So in terms of desha also, some dravyas are hita, some dravyas are ahita. Similarly, kala. So in shita kala, it's always advised to have the ushna dravyas. So that is ekanta hita. This is what Sushruta says. Cha includes the desha, kala, matra, samskara, etc. So all these have to be considered when we speak about ekanta hita and ekanta ahita. Tatra ekanta hitani jati satmyat salila grata dugda odana prabhritini. So what is ekanta hita? He gives few more examples like salila, grata. Salila means the water. Grata, ghee, dugda, milk, odana, the food preparation, especially made of tandula or the shali. Prabhritini, the other dravyas like yava, goduma, etc. he says. So they are ekanta hita, they are good always. For whom? Jati satmyat. So jati here refers to the manushya jati, that is for human beings. For all the human beings, usually the salila, grata, dugda, odana are ekanta hita. So no person will become ill by taking these dravyas like grata or dugda or salila or odana. Similarly, ekanta ahitani tu dahana pachana maranadishu pravruttani analakshara vishadi. Ekanta ahita for the human beings, manushya jati. That is anala, kshara and visha. Anala means agni, there is agni karma. Kshara karma or usage of kshara both internally and externally. Then visha, the poisons or the toxins. So they are always ahita for the manushya jati. That is jati satmyat, they are ekanta ahita. Because this anala will cause dahana, burning. Kshara cause paka and visha leads to marana, death. So hence these they are swabhavataha, they are ekanta hita and ekanta ahita for the manushya jati. So these can be different for other living beings. But here he is mainly concerned with the manushya jati. Then sanyogad aparani vishatulyani bhavanti. And some drugs, when they are combined together or mixed together, they act like poison, vishatulya. They may not be poison as such, but they act like visha. That means they can produce various complications or ill effects in the body. Hitahitani tu yadvayohu patyam tat pittasya apatyam. So hita. Some drugs are hita, that is they are good for or good in some conditions and good in other conditions. Similarly, the same drugs may be bad in some conditions and bad in other conditions. So in this way, he has told regarding the ekanta hita, ekanta ahita and hitahita. So commenting on this, Dallana says regarding the jati satmya. Why salila, dugdha, grita, odana, etc. are jati satmya, that is manushya jati satmya. So what is satmya? So he says Atma yahya abhimato deha atmana sahyat stitam. The one which is present along with the body or which is suitable to the body. Na kuryad vikritim dravyam upayuktam katanchana. Even if you use those dravyas, they will never produce any of the vikrati, any of the diseases. Will not produce any sort of discomfort to the individual. So such dravyas are considered satmya. Satmyam iti uchyate tattu. Prabriti grahanad yavagodu madaya. So prabritini, odana prabritini. So prabriti here refers to yava, goduma, etc. So they are also satmya to some individuals. So that again depends upon the desha where the person is living. Then etani agnikshara vishadini ekanta ahitani swasthanam. That is also very important because agni, kshara and visha, they are not good for a healthy individual. But for a diseased person, roginam tu rogamatradi apekshaya hitani eva iti. For a diseased person, these can be very useful. So we get different explanations in different chapters related to the usage of agni karma, usage of kshara karma, usage of visha. Though visha is considered ekanta ahita, that is only for swastha. For the diseased individual, visha can also be useful. So in the Dirganjiviti Adhya of the Charaka itself, Sutrasthana first itself, he has told, Yogadapi visham tikshnam uttamam beshajam bhavet, beshajam chapi duryuktam tikshnam sampadyate visham. So this particular aspect, wherein Agni, Kshara and Visha, which are totally ekanta ahita, are for swastha purushas only. They can be hita in the diseased people or in the rogis. In the case of udara, while treating the udara conditions, especially the jalodara, it is the last stage. That means where in the others, when all the other treatments of udara, they are failed. That means the chikitsa has become useless, wherein no other options are left now in the treatment. As a last option, Acharya Charaka says, Visha should be given to the patient after getting the consent from the patient's party. See how well our acharyas have explained. So when we use such dravyas which are going to kill the patient in general, but as a part of treatment, when they are to be used, we should get the consent from the relatives of the patient. The purpose of using the Visha, because Visha acts very quickly and it breaks the dosha sangata, which is the main factor in the Jalodhara. So once the dosha sangata is broken, then doshas become liquefied, and then there is every possibility of doshas moving in the respective srotas, and then the udara condition getting reduced. That's the last option. And again, it is not sure that whether the Visha will definitely cure the condition, but this is the treatment what Acharya Charaka has opted as a last sort of treatment. So in this condition, Visha becomes Hita. That's why Acharya in the first chapter itself says, Yoga atapi Visham Tishnam Uttamam Beshajam Bhavet. So Visha, though Ekanta Hita, can become Hita in the patient, not in the Swastha Purusha. So Ekanta Ahita is for the Swastha Purusha, whereas this Hitahita is mainly for the Rogis. Ataha Sarva Praninam Ayam Aharartam Vargam Upadishyate. Tadyata Raktashali Shastika Kangu Kramuka Kundaka Panduka Pitaka Pramodaka Kalaka Asanaka Pushpaka Kardamaka Shakunahrita Sugandaka Kalama Nivara Kodrava Uddalaka Shyamaka Goduma Yava Vena Vaina Harina Kuranga Mragamatrika Shwadamstra Karala Krakara Kapota Lava Tittiri Kapinjala Vartira Vartika Mudga Vanamudga Makustaka Kalaya Makusta Kalaya Masura Mangalya Chanaka Harenu Adaki Satina Chilli Vastuka Sunishannaka Jivanti Tanduliyaka Mandukaparnyaha Gavyam Gratam Saindhavam Dadima Amalakam Iti Esha Vargaha Sarva Praninam Samanyataha Patyatamaha. So these drugs, so which are being consumed by the individual, Sarva Praninam Ayam Aharartam Varga. Ahara, that is taking inside. So these are the foodstuffs which usually the people consume. And these are Samanyataha Patyatamaha. In general, these are considered Patya. So that includes all varieties of vegetarian and non-vegetarian substances, Jangal and Stavara origin, Raktashali, Shastikashali, Kangu, Kramuka, Kundaka, Panduka, Pitaka, Pramodaka, Kalaka, Asanaka, Hartama, Shakunahrita, etc., Nivara, Kodrava, Uddalaka, etc. They are all coming under Shukadanya and Shamidanya. Then Kapota, Lava, Tittiri, Kapinjala, Vartira, Vartika, etc. They are all the birds that we meet of these birds. Similarly, some of the Shimbidhanyas, some of the aquatic animals, the varieties of fish like chili, etc. Chilichuma, etc. that comes later. Then some of the animals like Ena, Kuranga, Mragamatrika, Shwadamshtra, etc. They are all animals. So all these, because these dravyas, some eat only the vegetarian, some eat only the non-vegetarian. So all the drugs that are commonly used, which are considered good, are mentioned here in this particular quotation. So here also he says Tittiri is Krishna Tittiri, Kapinjala is Gaura Tittiri. The two varieties of Tittiri bird. Tittiri is a very small bird. So again classifying this Acharya Sushruta has told Ena, etc. So Ena the Mrigas, the animals. They are Jangala Mriga Mamsa. These are the Mamsa of the Ena, etc., Kuranga, etc. They are coming under the Jangala Mriga. So their meat is good. Similarly, Lava Dehu Jangala Pakshishu, Lava the birds, Lava Tittiri, Kapinjala, etc. So their meat is good and they are mostly living in the Jangala Desha. Similarly, Gograta, what he has told, Gavyam Gratam. Among all the Sneha Dravya, Gograta is said to be the Patyatama. Saindhavam, Lavaneshur. There are varieties of Lavana like Saindhava, Udbida, Vida, Samudra, etc. Among all these varieties of Lavana, Saindhava Lavana is said to be the best. Amalaka and Dadima, they are coming under the Phalavanta. So they are good for the individual in general. We have got certain dravyas which can be hita in some context, which can be ahita in some context, such as Nivaraka, Kodrava, Uddalaka, Shamaka, etc. So Dalhana says Nivara, Kodrava, Uddalaka adinam Vatakaratvat Vata ahitatvam syat. Usually they are Vata prakopakara. Hence they should be ahita for the Vata. But how they are considered as hita? So Dalhana clarifies na evam alpavata karatvat adosha karatvat vyapadeshari. They do not aggravate the vata dosha too much. They may aggravate vata only to very little extent, or they may even do not aggravate the vata dosha. Either they may aggravate vata only to very little extent, or they may not aggravate the vata dosha at all. That is why, though they are not good for the vata in general, vata karatvat vata ahitatvam syat, this is what it says. But it is not good for the vata which is raised by the some people, but Dalana clarifies. Though it is increasing vata, that increase is very, very less. Hence, we can use these in general as good for the individual. Then, after explaining the ahara, he is explaining about the vihara also. So both are included, ahara and vihara. Tata brahmacharya, nivata shayana, ushnodaka snana, nisha swapna, vyayamascha ekantatah patyatamaha. So brahmacharya means stri seva nivritti, avoiding the sexual intercourse, not indulged or involved in the coitus. Then nivata shayana, residing in the house or the room or in a place where there is no heavy breeze, where there is no blowing of wind forcefully. Ushnodaka snana, there is warm water bath or the hot water bath. Of course, there are certain rules. That is, Ushna Jala should be for the body parts below the neck region, and for the region above the neck, that is head, it should be the cold water. Then Nisha Swapna, sleeping during night time. So that clearly says that one should not sleep during daytime. So sleeping during night or getting sleep during night is good, Patyatama. Similarly, Vyayama. Here also he has clearly mentioned Vyayamaha swastasya matraya kale cha Patyatama. Vyayama when done by a healthy individual, swastasya, that too in a proper time, kale, and in a proper way, matraya. That means ardha shakyani shevistu balibhi snigdha bojibhi. All these have been told. So if they are following these rules, only then Vyayama can be Patya. Otherwise, if it becomes excessive, then Vyayama can become Apatya. So here, in the end, he says Vyayamascha ekantata. So Vyayamacha ekant. So Chakarat Vega Vidaranadinam Grahanam. So Vega Avidaranadinam Grahanam. So one should not do the Vega Dharana. So if these are followed, then definitely they are good for the individual. They are Patyatama in the individual. So all these are meant for a Swastha Purusha especially. Ekanta ahitani tu prak upadishtani. Hitahitani tu yadvayoh patyam tat pittasya apatyam iti. So ekanta ahitani prak upadishtani. That means they are told earlier. In the beginning of this chapter, he has told regarding the ekanta hita and ekanta hita such as salila, grata, dugdha, odana, etc. and ekanta hita like visha, agni, then kshara, etc. Now hitahitani, both hita and ahita, the substances which are hitahita, both hita and ahita, are explained. So dravyas which are good for vata, but not good for pitta. They are patya for vata, but apatya for pitta. Similarly, the dravyas which are patya for pitta, apatya for vata, or patya for pitta and apatya for kapha. So all these are coming under Hitahiteeyam. So what are those Hitahita dravyas? He says, Sanyogatah tu aparani visatulyani bhavanti. And most of these, they are mainly because of Sanyoga. So when two or more dravyas are mixed or combined, they act like poison. Vishatulyani. They may not be Visha as such, but they act like the poison, or they can become toxic. Tadyatha. He gives the list of certain dravyas. Vallipala, Kavaka, Karira. So here, Kavaka is in the Mula Shloka, but in the commentary he says it as a Karaka. Amlapala, Lavana, Kulatta, Pinyaka, Dadi, Taila, Virohi, Pishta, Shishka, Shaka, Aja, Avika Mamsa, Madhya, Jambava, Chilichima, Matsya, Godha, Varahamscha, Na Ekadyam Ashniyat Payasa. So all these should not be consumed together with milk. Na Aikadyam. Aikadyam means together. Payasa, na Ashniyat. Along with the milk, these should not be consumed. What are they? Valli Phala. So Valli Phala, he says it as Kushmanda Adi. So which are having the climbers, Valli. So the fruits which grow from such climbers like Kushmand, etc. Along with the milk, they should not be consumed. Similarly, the Karaka. So in some books it has been mentioned as Karaka, some in Kavaka. Kavaka means Chatraka. Chatraka is Shatapushpa. Then Karira, the Vamshankura related with the bamboo. Then Amlaphala, like Amra, Amrataka, etc. So all this should not be taken with the milk. Then Virohi, Vigataroham, Chanakadikam, Ankuritam, the sprouts like Chanaka, etc. So they should not be consumed along with the milk. Then Pishtam, that is a Tandula Pishtam, any fermented preparations, again they are not supposed to be consumed with the milk. Jambavam, Jambhupalam. Then Shushka Shaka, dry vegetables. Then Aja Mamsa, Avika Mamsa, the meat of the goat as well as the sheep. So a Mamsa is applicable to both Aja and Avi. Madhya, wine or any other alcoholic preparations. Jambavam, Jambhupala. Chilichima, a variety of fish. So Dallan says Chilichima as a Matsya, which is having a Shakali, the scales, and Lohitaksha, red colored eyes. And Sarvataha Lohitaraji, having red colored lines or the streaks all over the body. And Prayo Bhumo Charat. And most of the cases it resides or moves on the Bhumi, that is ground. Rather than residing in water more, it will be on the ground. Ground in the maybe it is living by the side of river or the pond or the lake. In between, they may enter the water and then they may come back to the shore or the surface. And it is called or considered by some as Sthalamina. Sthala is here referring to the ground. That means they are not living more in water, rather they will be living more on the seashore or the bank of the rivers, etc. So all these should never be consumed with the milk. Na ekadyam na ekasmin kale. Together they are not supposed to be consumed. So here he says, Sanyogatah, when only they are consumed with milk, they act as ahita. They become apatyatama. They can act like a poison, or they can produce some toxic effect in the body. So that is why they should be avoided. That means mixing these drugs. So certain lavanas along with the milk. So in some of the places like in the west, like in Gujarat or in the areas like Rajasthan, people have the habit of consuming khichdi with milk. And whatever we have observed so far, so in those areas, the manifestation of the skin diseases is quite more. The reason mainly is along with the khichdi, they take or mix milk and consume. So here it becomes viruddha. So amla and madhura, khichdi containing amla rasa and milk containing madhura rasa, they become rasa viruddha there. So they develop more skin diseases when compared to the people of other area. So this has to be avoided. So these are the hitahita, so that can occur by sanyoga. So further he says, rogam satmyam cha desham cha kalam deham cha buddhiman avekshya agnyadikan bhavan rogavritte prayoje. Rogavritta means the patient, those who are having the disease. So in them, one has to use different dravyas. Like rogam, the patient is suffering from a disease like udara, etc. Satmya, depending upon the satmya of the rogi, whether the rogi is satmya to a particular foodstuff, accordingly one has to give. So Dallon has commented that satmya is of 8 types, like jati satmya, atura satmya, aushadha satmya, anna satmya, rasa satmya, desha satmya, rutu satmya and udaka satmya. So jati, atura, aushadha, anna, rasa, desha, rutu, udaka bhedataha. So based on the jati satmya, that is janma satmya, because some people are satmya or accustomed to the milk. So you can give any of the aushadha dravyas along with the milk as an anupana. Some may not like the milk at all because they are not satmya. Similarly, atura satmya to the patient. Some people, they may not like some sort of medicine preparations, like some may not like the kashaya, some may not like the churna. So in whatever form they would like to consume medicine, that form one has to give the or prepare the medicine and can give it to the patient. So this has been clearly told by Acharya Charaka in the Chikitsa 30th chapter also. Because sometimes what happens, you are giving some medications to the patient, maybe in the form of a churna, and you are getting the result. So you want to continue with the medicine, but the patient doesn't like because he is taking the medicine for long, for about a month or so, and now he is not having the desire to take that particular churna, maybe because of its taste or he is habituated for that. Now he wants a different medicine. Physician doesn't want to change the medicine because he is getting the result. So what has to be done? Acharya Charaka has told, you can change the form of the medicine. If you don't want to change the medicine, you can change the form of the medicine and then you can give it to the patient. So instead of a churna, you can alter the form of the medicine. You can change the same combination but in a different form. Maybe in the form of a kashaya, maybe in the form of vati, in whichever way the patient would like to consume. So that is atura satmya, atura aushadha satmya. Then anna, so which type of ahara you would like to give. So in some people, they may be liking the shali, and some people they may not like the shali, they like the goduma. So they are habituated for that, or some may be liking the other foodstuffs. So whichever anna doesn't mean only the rice here, all the other dravyas which the patient regularly consume. So that particular ahara can be done. For example, he is having some disease, you are telling some patya. At that time, if the patient is habituated of taking the goduma preparations, then you can ask the patient, of course, that goduma should not produce any effect on the disease. If it is so, then you can ask the patient as patya. Similarly, the rasa. So whichever rasa the patient likes to consume, which rasa is satmya to that disease, one has to inquire and then accordingly that can be given to the patient. So sometimes the patient may not like the amla rasa. He wants the tikta rasa. Change the medicine to tikta rasa or convert the taste into tikta and give it to the patient. Similarly, the Desha Satmya, Rutu Satmya, Udaka Satmya, etc. So based on all these factors, one can use the drugs. So they are Ekanta, Hita and Ahita. So Desha, Anupadikam, Kalam, Shitoshna Varsha Lakshanam, Deham, Stula Krasha, Madhya Veda Vinnam and Agni Adi Bhava. So based on these, that is Roga, Satmya, Desha, Kala, Deha, Agni, etc. So one has to use different dravyas. So here Adi refers to Prakriti, Vaya, Sharirika Bala, Sattva Bala, all these have to be considered. That means before using any of the dravya, we should consider all these factors as mentioned in the Charaka and in Ashtanga, that is Dushyam, Desham, Magalam, Kala, Manalam, Sattvam. In the same way, here also we have to consider all these factors in the patient, and then accordingly we have to use the medicine. So here he says, Dallana, that is Udarinaha Tilamatra Vishavakshanam. So the patient of Udara, what way Visha should be given? What should be Tila Pramana? The Visha should be given in a quantity of 1 Tila. The quantity of 1 Tila, season. It's a very minute quantity. If it is exceeding, definitely it can kill the patient. So we should be very careful. Similarly, in the Krishna Sarpa Davshta, Krishna Sarpa bite, Ikshukanda Bhakshanam, consuming the Ikshukanda, eating the Ikshukanda. So that is useful in Krishna Sarpa Davshta. Otherwise, Ikshukanda Bhakshana can lead to Vidaha. So, Ikshukanda, if you go through the Charak Samhita, there are two. One is getting or having the Ikshurasa, sugarcane juice, by crushing the Ikshukanda between the teeth. That is, crushing between the teeth and sucking its juice. That is one salt. And such consumption of sugarcane juice is beneficial. And some is Yantrika Ikshurasa. Nowadays, what we are getting in the hotels or in the juice centers, they are the Yantrika Ikshurasa, and they are supposed to produce Vidaha. They are supposed to produce the Vidaha. So that should be avoided. Otherwise, Ikshurasa or the Ikshukanda Bhakshana is good in case of Krishna Sarpa Visha. So they are all Ekanta Hita, Ahita Hita. Hita and Ahita. Avastantara bahulyat rogadinam vyavasthitam dravyam na icchanti vishaja icchanti swastarakshane. Dvayoho anyataradane vadanti vishadugdayoho dugdasya ekanta hitatam visham ekanto ahitam evam yuktaraseshu dravyeshu saliladishu ekanta hitatam viddivatsa sushruta na anyatha. So avastantara bahulyat. So there are different avasthas, different conditions of the roga, desha, kala, satmya, etc. So, vyavasthitam na icchanti. There is no any fixed rule that this should be given, this should not be given, especially in the patient. And this fixing of ekanta hita and ekanta ahita are only in relation with the swastha purusha. So that's why he says, Dravyam na icchanti vishaja, icchanti swastarakshane. Swastarakshane icchanti. So this ekanta hita and ekanta ahita are in relation with the swasthya, not in the roga. In the patient, there is no thing like ekanta ahita and ekanta hita. This is only in case of healthy individuals. For a healthy individual, this is ekanta hita. For healthy individuals, this is ekanta hita. For a diseased person, there is nothing like ekanta hita and ekanta hita. They are always hita hita. Dvayoho anyataradani vadanti vishadugdayoho. So these two, Visha and Dugda. For both, Dvayoho means both swastha and rogi. So Visha can become ahita for the swastha purusha, but that can be hita for the rogi. Similarly, dugdha can be hita for the swastha purusha and it can be ahita for the rogi. For some of the diseases, dugdha should never be given. For example, in case of amajwara, that is tarunajwara, wherein the ama is there, so milk is totally contraindicated. Though it is good, but in that particular condition it is not good. So that is why he says dvayoho means both in swastha and rogi. This visha and dugdha can become reversible. That means visha can be hita in the rogi, but it is definitely ahita in the healthy individual. Similarly, the dugdha is hita in the swastha, but the same can be ahita in the rogi. Dugdasya ekanta hitatam visham ekantato ahitam. So that has been clearly told. Evam yuktaraseshu eshu dravyeshu saliladishu ekanta hitatam viditasya vatsa sushrutana anyata. So evam yuktaraseshu eshu iti. Similarly, the other dravyas in swastha and rogis. So some are classified as ekanta hita and some are considered ekanta ahita. Ato anyani api sanyogad ahitani vakshyamaha. So there are many such dravyas which are ahita on sanyoga. That means when you club or combine together different dravyas, they act as ahita. If they are used alone, they are good. But when they are mixed with the other dravyas, they become ahita. So you have seen in the Charaka Samhita, the Rakta Pitta, he has mentioned Kodrava. So in the Nidana, there is a mentioning of a Kodrava. But the same Kodrava is also mentioned in the Chikitsa of Rakta Pitta. So in a single disease, Kodrava is acting as a Nidana and Kodrava is acting as a Chikitsa Dravya. So how it is possible? So when Kodrava is mixed with other dravyas, it becomes Nidana for the Rakta Pitta. See, Sanyogat Ahitani there. Similarly, when Kodrava is used alone, it can become with the Chikitsa. So there it is Hita. Similarly, many other dravyas, some other dravyas are also there like Gandhira, etc. So when they are used alone, they act in a certain way. When they are mixed with the other dravyas, they act in certain other way or quite opposite way. That means when they are combined or mixed with other dravyas, they act as ahita. He gives a list here. Nava viruda dhanyaihi navadhanya viruda dhanya vasa madhu paya guda masha gramya anupa avadaka pishitadi na abhyavhare. That means navadhanya viruda dhanya vasa madhu paya, that is a kshira, guda or masha. They should not be consumed along with the gramya mamsa or anupa mamsa or the audaka mamsa. Gramya anupa audaka. Pishita means the mamsa. Na abhyavharet. One should not consume. Similarly, nam bhayo madhubhyam rohini shakam jatuka shakam va ashnyat. Along with the kshira and madhu, rohini shaka and jatuka shaka are not advisable. Consuming these should be avoided. Balakam varuni kulmashabhyam. Balaka along with the varuni and kulmasha should not be consumed. Kakamachim pippali marichabhyam. Kakamachi should not be consumed with the pippali and maricha. Nadi bhanga shaka kukkuta dadi nichana aikadhyam. So these dravyas, nadi, bhanga, shaka, kukkuta, dadi, they should never be consumed together. Na ekadhyam. So nadi, bhanga, shaka, kukkuta and dadi. Again here, it is not that nadi, bhanga, shaka, kukkuta, dadi. There are three. So either two or three with dadi or all the three, they should never be taken. Madhucha ushnodaka anupanam. After taking madhu, consuming the ushna jala as anupanam is totally. Pittena cha mamsani. They go with the amamamsa. Amamamsa means the fresh meat. It's not processed one. It's not advisable. Sura, krishara, payasamsana ekadyam. Sura, the alcoholic preparation. Krishara, again the preparation using some of the dhanyas. So here he says, Tila tandula mashehi kritaya vagu. That is krishara. And payasa is one which is prepared by the kshira and the tandula. Kshira siddha tandulaha. So again, either one, that is 2 or 3 should never be consumed, like sura and payasa, or krishara and payasa, or sura and krishara, or all the 3 together should never be consumed. Savirakena saha tila shashkuli. Tila and shashkuli along with the saviraka. Saviraka is a fermented preparation. Matsyahi saha ikshu vikaran, the preparations or the products of the ikshu like jaggery, etc. should never be consumed with the fish. Gudena kakamachim, guda with the kakamachi. Madhuna mulakam, madhu, the honey with the mulaka, the radish. Gudena varaham, madhunacha saha viruddham. That is varaha means the varaha, mamsa. So that along with the guda and madhu, this viruddha. Kshirena mulakam, the milk with the mulaka, the radish. Amra jambava, ashwavit shukara godascha. So amrapala, jambu phala. Then shwavit, it's an animal. Then shukara, it's a wild boar or the pig. Godha, it's a iguana. So the meat of these animals along with the amra and jambu phala. Then sarvamsha matsyana payasa, all varieties of fish along with the milk, especially the chilichima, visheshena chilichimam, that should never be consumed. If consumed, that is definitely going to take away the life. So other may not take away the life, but they will definitely produce other varieties of fish, will definitely lead to one or the other diseases. Kadali palam talapalena payasa dadna takrenava. So kadali pala along with the talapala or with the paya, that is milk, or with the dadi or with the takra, should never be taken. But most of the people, they consume kadali with the paya or kadali with the takra, etc. Lakuchapalam payasa dadna mashasupenava. So lakuchapala along with dadi along with the kshira or along with mashasupa is viruddha. Prak payasaha payaso anteva. So this is again related with the lakuchapala only. That is consuming the milk before the intake of lakuchapala. That is also viruddha. That is only milk is consumed, and after drinking milk, the person is eating the lakuchapala. That is viruddha. Or first he takes the lakuchapala, then he drinks the milk. That is also viruddha. Lakuchapala along with the milk is also viruddha. That means milk is totally contraindicated when lakuchapala is consumed by the individual, irrespective of the time when he drinks the milk. It is again not good before the consumption of lakuchapala. Consuming the milk is not good before the consumption of or eating of lakuchapala. Milk is not good along with the lakuchapala, and again drinking milk is not good after the consumption of the lakuchapala. So in general, lakuchapala and milk are totally viruddha. They are not advised at all. So they are all sanyogataha viruddha. That means when combined together, they act as either poisonous or they produce some ill effects to the body. Ataha karma viruddhan vakshyamaha. Kapotan sarshapataila brishtan na adyat. Adyat means taking. So what is a karma viruddha? Karma viruddha. That means you are processing these in a certain way, and that processing itself is not advisable. That's why he gives example here. Kapotan sarshapataila brashtan. The kapota mamsa fried in the sarshapataila is viruddha. Similarly, kapinjala, mayura, lava, tippiri, godascha, एरण्ड दार्व्याग्नि सिद्धा एरण्ड तैल सिद्धा वा न अद्या. The meat of these animals and the birds like Kapinjala, Mayura, Lava, Tittiri, these are the birds, and Goda, the animal. The meat of these prepared in the Eranda Darvi Agni. That means as a fuel, the cast of the Eranda is used. With that fuel, one should not prepare any of the meat preparations of these animals and birds. Or else, the meat of these animals and birds should not be mixed or processed in Eranda Taila. You are using the Eranda Taila for samskara of these animals and birds meat. So they are considered viruddha. Kamsyavajane Ratra Pariyushitam Sarpe. Keeping the ghee for 10 nights in the Kamsya Bhajana, the bronze vessel, and consuming after 10 days. It is not at all good. So, that sarpi, when used by the individual, then that will be producing various ill effects in the body. Similarly, madhucha ushnaihi ushneva, madhu dravyas. The ushna dravya may be ushna guna yukta or ushna virya yukta, or even the dravyas which are having ushna sparsha. That is ushna jala, along with the ushna jala. The water is very hot. Along with that, the madhu is consumed. No, not advisable. Hot milk, no. Or ushneva. Ushne here refers to the ushnakala, the season, wherein the atmosphere is very hot. Or in summer season, when the environment is totally warm or hot. In such conditions also, one should never consume madhu. Matsya paripachane shrangavera paripachane va siddham kakamachi. So, Matsya paripachane shrangavera paripachane. That is for frying the fish or frying the shrangavera. So, using these, so we have used certain vessels for frying the or doing the paka of the matsya or the shrangavera, and again in the same patra or in the same vessel we are putting the kakamachi and doing some process preparation of kakamachi. So that is not good. That means you have already used matsya or the shrangavera in that vessel and processed them, and now without washing that vessel cleanly, to that vessel itself you are adding the kakamachi and doing some samskara. That is not good. Tilakalka siddham upodika shakam. Similarly, the upodika shaka processed with the tilakalka, that is also not good. Narikelena varahavasa paribrashtamu balakam. So varahavasa along with the narikela. So you have first balaka is fried in the varahavasa, and after frying in varahavasa, that varahavasa is consumed along with the narikela or the narikela. So that is again the bhasam angara shulyam na ashniyat. So bhasa is a bird. He says it's having the appearance of a gradra. Gradra is a vulture. Just like the vulture, it's a shape. But it's having the dhusara varna, that is a grayish color, and its beak is shorter than the vulture. So this bhasa, the meat of this bhasa pakshi, should never be consumed after processing it with the angara shulya. Angara is cold. Shulya means a pointed object wherein the meat are being fixed, and below that it is heated. Nowadays can be seen in some non-vegetarian hotels. Some places they keep it outside itself. You can see on the outside itself that they are continuously heated and they are pierced with one needle like tandoori, etc. So that such vasa mamsa should never be consumed. So these are related with the samskara viruddha. Coming to the mana viruddha, wherein the mana is quantity. When certain dravyas are added together or combined together or mixed together in a certain quantity or proportion, he gives certain examples like madhu and jala, madhu and grata. They should never be consumed in equal quantity. That means you are taking one part of madhu and one part of jala. It is mana viruddha. Similarly, madhu and grata in equal quantity, mana viruddha. स्नेहौ मधु स्नेहौ जल स्नेहौ वा विशेषाल आंतरिक्षोदक अनुपानो. Similarly, sneha, that is two sneha together in equal quantity. Then that means after consuming that sneha, antariksha jala as anupan. Similarly, madhu sneha and jala sneha. So madhu and sneha dravya, jala and sneha dravya are mixed, and after that antariksha jala is consumed. So this is mana viruddha. So in this way he has told about the mana viruddha. अथ ऊर्ध्वं रसद्वन्द्वानि रसतो वीर्यतो विपाकतश्च विरुद्धानि वक्ष्यामः. So after explaining the samskara viruddha, mana viruddha, he is now explaining about the rasa viruddha. Rasadvandvani, that is two rasas like madura and amla, madura lavana, tikta kashaya, tikta lavana, like that. Rasataha, that is rasataha viruddha, then virataha viruddha, and vipakataha viruddha. So all these should never be taken away the individual. So they are all coming under ekanta hita and ahita, that is sanyoga, combination. Whenever they are mixed together, they act like vishatulyani. Tatra maduramla rasavirya viruddha. Madura and amla, that is any madura and amla rasayukta dravyas, and mixed together and consumed, they act in both the ways. They become rasaviruddha as well as virya viruddha. Madura is usually shita virya and amla is usually ushna virya. Similarly, madura lavana ucha, they also become rasavirya viruddha and virya viruddha. Because madura is shita, lavana is ushna. Madura katuka ucha, similarly madura and katuka rasa dravyas mixed together. They act as rasavirya viruddha and virya viruddha. Madura tiktau rasavipakabhyam. Madura tiktau rasavipakabhyam. That means madura rasa and tikta rasa together. It becomes rasaviruddha as well as vipaka viruddha. Because madura is madura vipaka, tikta is katu vipaka. So in the previous one, madura katu kaucha sarvataha. So sarvataha here refers to rasaviruddha, virya viruddha, vipaka viruddha. All the three we have to consider. Madura kashaya ucha. Similarly, madura and kashaya rasa dravyas mixed together and consumed. So madura and kashaya rasa sevana, they are both rasaviruddha and vipaka viruddha. Similarly, amla rasa and lavana rasa dravyas, they become both rasaviruddha and vipaka viruddha. Because amla rasa is usually madura vipaka and lavana rasa is usually madura vipaka and amla rasa is amla vipaka. Amla katukau rasa vipaka abhyam. Similarly, amla and katuka rasa yukta dravya clubbed together, mixed together, consumed, they act as rasaviruddha as well as vipaka viruddha. Amla tiktau amla kashaya ucha sarvata. Similarly, amla tikta or amla kashaya rasa sevana together, they become sarvataha. That is rasaviruddha, virya viruddha as well as vipaka viruddha. So amla rasa is having the amla rasa Ushnavirya and Madhurvipaka. Whereas the Tiktarasa is having the Shitavirya and Katuvipaka. So both Vipaka Viruddha, Virya Viruddha, of course Rasa Viruddha is there. Similarly, Amla Kashaya, it is also having Rasa Viruddha. Then Virya Viruddha, that is Kashaya is Shitavirya, Amla is Ushnavirya. Vipaka Viruddha, Kashaya is Katuvipaka, Amla is Amla Vipaka. Lavana Katako Rasa Vipaka. So Rasa Viruddha and Vipaka Viruddha. Lavana and it becomes Sarvatah Viruddha. Rasa Viruddha, Virya Viruddha and Vipaka Viruddha. Katudikta Rasaviryabhyam. Katu Kashaya Ucha. So Katu and Tikta Rasa Dravyas and Katu and Kashaya Rasa Viruddha. They become Rasa Viruddha and Virya Viruddha. Because Katu Rasa is Ushna Virya and Kashaya Rasa and Tikta Rasa are Shita Virya. Tikta Kashaya Rasatah. Tikta and Kashaya Rasa Dravyas are only Rasa Viruddha. So in this way, he has given a list of some Dravyas having Rasa Viruddha, Virya Viruddha, Vipaka Viruddha, Rasavirya Viruddha, Rasavipaka Viruddha, Virya Vipaka Viruddha and Rasavirya Vipaka Viruddha. Taratama Yoga Yuktam Bhavan Atisnigdan Atirukshan Atyushnan Atishitan Iti Evam Adin Vivarjaye. So in the same way, one should avoid consuming the dravyas which are atisnigda, which are atiruksha, which are atyushna, which are atishita. That means atiruksha and atisnigda dravyas together. Then atishita and atyushna dravyas together. So all these have to be avoided so that person can maintain the healthy status. So in this way, he has told about the Viruddha there. Bhavanti chatra viruddhani evam adini virataha yani kanchit tani ekanta ahitani eva shesham vidyat hitahitam. So in this way, the Viruddhas have been told. So I think the remaining, I will be doing in the next session, that is tomorrow.
Thank you so much, sir. Now the session is open for discussion, and anybody has doubts, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, namaste, sir. Hello.
Namaste.
Sir, in
Hello.
the Hitahita, Valli Pala are told as Ahita, but most of the vegetables which is Valli Pala only. So, can you elaborate on this point, sir?
Pardon?
Like in Hitahita, Valli Pala. Am I audible, sir?
No. Voice is a little bit breaking. Please repeat the question.
Am I audible now?
You are audible.
Yes,
hello,
sir.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah, you are audible. Please.
Sir, during this, Valli Phala is told as Ahita.
Yeah, please continue. You are audible.
Yeah, Valli Phala is told as Ahita. So most of the vegetables
that is
are
along with the milk.
Along with milk. So, during the sweet dishes we prepare.
It is.
Petha and everything that is used along with the milk. So it is ahita, and how it will gonna cause a disease in the person, sir.
See, there na ekadam ashniyat payasa. That means that should not be consumed along with the milk. The processing is different. Consumption with the other dravyas is different. So Valli Phala, he has told it as here Kushmandadi Vallijam. So some other consider as a Shimbi Danya, that's a different issue. But Kushmandadi Valli, there should not be consumed along with the milk. And most probably, here what Dallal wants to say is, when they are in the, that is as a vegetable if we are using, so most of them are usually having somewhat amla rasa, not madhura. So So if it is having or if it is fully ripened, then it's a different issue. But when they are having or for preparing some food preparations, so they may be having some when they are not fully ripened in that particular stage, he might have considered. So that reference is that I don't remember that particular. So in their apakwa avastha, they are not advisable. When they become fully ripened, then they can be consumed. So when I get that reference, I will inform or when I will share with you. So here Valli Phala doesn't mean that it is totally contraindicated. So in its apakwa conditions, that is when it is not having the Madhura Rasa completely, or when it is fully grown, it will be having its Madhura Rasa. At that time, that can be taken by the taken with the paya. So
Yes, sir.
there is one reference. I don't remember in Charaka or Sushita. In the commentary, there is one reference.
This question arised because, sir, one of the reference for Kushmanda Avaliha, which is indicated in Amla Pitta, it include Godugda as well in this, along with Amalaki and Kushmanda. Along with this, Godugda is also mentioned in the preparation. That is why.
That's what I. Yeah. So because there you are doing some samskara, no?
Yes,
In
sir.
the
There they
preparations, it
didn't
is subjected
mention
for
which
samskara.
pada in particular, but
Yeah.
that was the
So
question.
yeah, here most of them are told as such, as used as such. So when it is subjected to samskara, their properties will change. Samskaro hi gunantaradhana muchyate, something like that is there. Even in Charaka, Vimanasthana, in the Ashtahari Dvisheshayatana, so these are mentioned. When it is subjected to some one or the other variety of samskara, that is Desha, Kala, Shaucha, Mantana, Mantana, Agni Sannikarsha, Toya Sannikarsha, etc. Their properties will change from Guru to Lagu, Ushna to Shita. So all these are there. So that is why, so when you are preparing the Kushmanda Avaleha, it is subjected for heating there. Agni Sannikarsha is there. So some of its features will change. So in the yoga, in a combination, you get both the Ushna Virya Dravyas, Shita Virya Dravyas, Ruksha Guna Yukta, Snigdha Guna Yukta. So different Dravyas are being used there. But that doesn't produce any of the ill effect. So Viruddha, that's what I'm telling. Viruddha is mentioned only for the healthy individuals. For a diseased person, when you club or combine together some of the dravyas and process or do the samskara, then they won't act as Viruddha. Rather, they will show their good result. So you
Okay,
get a
sir.
plenty of preparations which are having different or opposite properties.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste, sir. Sir, while explaining karma viruddha.
Hello.
Hello, am I audible? Hello. Am I audible, sir?
It's echo. It's audible, but it's echoing.
Sir, while explaining karma viruddha,
Hello.
you have told that madhu should not be used
You
in
are
Ushna
audible.
Kala, no, sir? So can we use madhu as a medicine in Ushna Rutu, like Sharad and Grishma Rutu, sir? As Anupana, we can give in Ushna Kala?
You're not audible.
Can you repeat the question?
While explaining karma viruddha, they have told that madhu should not be used in Ushna Kala also, no? So while giving medicines, we'll give madhu as an anupana. So in Ushna Rutu like Sharad and Grishma, can we give as an anupana in Ushna Kala? As anupana can we give? That is what is my question.
Pardon, please repeat the question because some network issue in my area
Hello,
from my side.
am I audible, sir? Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello.
You are audible now, no, but some network issues from my side. 1 minute, 1 minute.
Dr. Spurti, maybe you can write it on
Hello,
the chat box so sir can
Ha,
read it.
okay, okay.
hello,
Okay. Hello.
hello. No, now it's clear. Now it's clear. Please continue. Hello.
Hello. Is it audible, sir?
Sir is out of meeting. Maybe he will rejoin.
Participants can type the question in the chat box below as well. There are some network issues from sir's side, and sir told that he'll be joining the meeting tomorrow, and before starting the session he'll be taking the doubts and then starting the session. So we'll conclude the session today, and I hope everybody will join tomorrow as well. So the questions will be taken before the session.
Okay, thank you.